Hey everyone, this is Sonal and you are watching Swagittarius. Swagittarius. Now I don't want to be rude, but I was really hungry, so I might eat while I'm talking, or I'll just be polite and leave my Maggie somewhere. Now this video is not about eating Maggie or making Maggie or anything that's similar. This video is for every person out there who is a huge foodie. And if you somehow missed the title of the video, then in this video, I will be talking about movies that you as a foodie can binge watch. And once you finish binge watching, you might probably end up binge eating. You might also want to do both of them together. That's totally up to you. So, let's get started. Okay, first thing, I look different or disheveled from the introduction part of the video because I'm shooting this on a different day and that video was shot weeks ago. So, alright, getting to the movie. What comes to your mind when you think of all things Italian? Spaghetti, meatballs, pizza, this hand gesture, Sonia Gandhi. Anyway, if you want to get rid of your mind from all those stereotypical things, then Big Night is the movie for you. It is set in the 1950s and it is a story about two Italian brothers who have moved to America and they own a restaurant called Paradise. And the elder brother, who is Primo, he puts his life and soul into everything that he cooks because he wants to present authentic Italian dishes to his customers and not the Americanized Italian cuisine. And Secondo, who is the younger brother, he is the front face of the restaurant. He manages, he hosts the customers. Despite all of their efforts, their restaurant is not doing well. So, what the younger brother does, he goes across the street where another Italian restaurant is there. He meets the owner called Pascal and he asks Pascal for help. And Pascal uncle tells that he will help them by inviting a very famous Italian American jazz singer and his crew to Paradise. So when the singer and his crew visit Paradise, obviously the restaurant will receive some traction and some fame and attention. And in preparation for the big night when the jazz singer and his crew will come over, the brothers start preparing. So the movie is named Big Night. Why should you watch this movie? Food. The different cinematic approaches. If you're someone who wants to get into the technical aspects of cinematography, amazing Italian cuisine. Also, the fact that it somehow shares a glimpse of today's social media life, as in people's efforts are not taken into consideration as much as the commercialization of things, because Pascal's restaurant was very famous and it provided the mainstream Americanized Italian food, whereas Paradise was very much into serving authentic Italian food. So the very big question of arts versus not arts, efforts versus just doing anything to please your people is there. Om Puri and Helen Mirren together in a movie. I am sold. But foot, the 100 foot journey is more than just these two amazing people. I watched this movie a very long time ago. It was released in 2014 and it is 2022 now. So I watched it somewhere around 2015. So basically, I might miss out on some details. But what the plot is that an Indian family moves to London and then eventually settles in a village in Paris. Back home in India, the mother of the family is killed, and the restaurant that they used to own is destroyed because of a fire. So that's why they had to move. But now, what happens in this village is one day an automobile accident happens, and because of it, they get to meet a French woman who helps them out. And inspired from her food, the father of the family, who is Ompui, he decides to restart his restaurant business, even though his family does not want him to go through all that trauma. Now, this restarting of business of the restaurant business puts him in rivalry with the owner of a French restaurant, which is 30 meters or 100 feet across the street. Now, before the big opening or the grand opening of the restaurant is I said restaurant a number of times. The restaurant is vandalized and minutely bombed by some people. And when these people are in the act, the younger son catches them doing that. But as a result of that arson, his hands are burnt to a great extent. Turns out that these people who were vandalizing the restaurant used to work for Helen Mirren. And when she realizes that, she goes over and helps these people. And she offers the younger son a job, which is frowned upon by the father, Ompuri, like every other Indian parent. But he makes that 100 foot journey's distance, goes over to Helen Mirren's restaurant, learns fusion cooking, he fuses Indian and French cooking. And eventually, in the course of time, the restaurant owns a Michelin star. It gets awarded a Michelin star. So that is the crux of it. There are a lot of other things happening. सब मैं बोल दूंगी तो आप क्या ही देखेंगे. But here's why you should watch the movie. Food. Helen Mirren and Om Puri, amazing actors. And it also talks about how Indian parents usually frown at almost every other thing, but if you are persistent enough, you might eventually end up getting what you want. So, watch this movie. Again, this movie did not receive a lot of great responses, but it is worthy of being watched. So, go watch it. Okay, so I look different yet again because the video for this particular movie was corrupted somehow. But anyway, coming to the movie, Julie and Julia is a movie about two women. Julie Paul and Julia Child. This is a biographical movie. Now, coming to Julia first, Julia Child used to be a famous cook in the 1950s. She had moved to France with her husband because of her husband's job, and to pass her time, she joined a cooking class, and everyone there used to laugh at her because she was the only woman there. But she kept striving, and eventually she decided to write a book of French recipes which could be used by American housewives. And that book became very famous in due course of time. Julie Powell, when her part is shown, it's 2002, and she is a very unhappy call center employee. She is very unhappy with her job and her life, much like the rest of us. And to keep some hope in her life alive, she decides to cook all of Julia Child's recipes that she has published in her book, and she cooks all of them, and she talks about doing that in her blog. So the name of her blog is 365 days 524 recipes one tiny apartment. So I don't think I need to explain why the blog is named the way it is named. Why should you watch the movie? Of course, food. By now you should have understood that food is the main ingredient of all these movies. But it also talks about, but the reason why you should also watch the movie is because it shows that if you really strive hard for something, be it Julia Child marching ahead despite being made fun of by her classmates in the cooking lessons and publishing a book, or be it Julie Powell trying to cook everything and successfully managing to do so. If you keep pushing yourself, you will eventually gain whatever it is that you want. So, I think I'll probably get hold of Julia Child's book and try to cook, but until that happens, I'll go rewatch the movie. This movie is turning out to be funnier and weirder than what I had assumed it would be. But when I was editing the video for this particular movie, I realized that there's a lot of communication happening between my parents. Not that this video is any clear either, but okay. So you put Bradley Cooper in any movie, I am going to watch it anyhow, irrespective of what the plot of the movie is. But it is not in today's list because of my heartfelt bias for him, rather because of the insight that this movie has to provide. Burnt is a movie about a chef called Adam who used to work in a very high end restaurant, but he loses his job because of his behavioral issues, because of his drug use or rather abuse. So he moves to London. He meets up old friends, colleagues, some past rivals, and he tries to get his back and get his life back on track, and he puts bits and pieces together. He is hired by one of his old colleagues in his restaurant on a temporary basis, and he is doing a pretty good job there, but he is back to being a jerk again. So eventually he loses that job, and throughout the movie a lot of fluctuating incidents happen that eventually make Adam realize his mistakes, his behavior as a human. So he tries to mend himself, and eventually things fall back into their places as usual. The movie did not receive that good a response from critics, but I personally like this movie because it does show a glimpse of how hectic and how pressurizing the life of a chef can be when they are working for any kind of restaurant, be it a high end, be it a regular restaurant, whatever it is. It does show a glimpse of how things can be for chefs. The fun fact about this movie is that Bradley Cooper had trained for his role in one of Gordon Ramsay's restaurants. So if you watch the movie and you see a lot of cusses happening or a lot of plates flying, so you know the reason why. The reason why you should watch this movie is food, Bradley Cooper, and like I said, it shows how demanding the job of a chef can be and the pressure that they go through. So go watch it. Of course, I have some honorary mentions. I obviously cannot forget Ratatouille. Then there's Chef, both the Hollywood version and the Bollywood version. And Sausage Party. It is animated, but if you like watching animated movies, then you can watch. So, alright, that's it for today's video. These are not the best food movies out there. That's not what I'm saying, but these are movies that I watched and I liked, and I think people will like them as well. Thus, the recommendations. If you have watched any of these movies and you have other recommendations as well, then please let me know in the comments below. कोई comment नहीं करता वो अलग बात है, but बोलने में क्या ही जाता है. So there's that. If you have other content ideas, then drop them in the comments below as well. If you are new to my channel, hello, this is Sonal. I post content every Sunday, although I did not post anything last week because people at home are not well. They are not well right now either, but I wanted to make a video just to escape from that zone for a bit. But I post content every Sunday and I post videos about photography, music, movies, art, books, series. I do some random shitty vlog if I am on a holiday or if there's a special occasion happening. So, more or less, all things random. If you have been subscribed to my channel, then thank you for being subscribed. Ask other people to subscribe. And if you have not yet subscribed, click on that subscribe button and then the bell icon next to it. You know what you have to do. I don't need to explain. You are smart enough to do that. If you like today's video, like, comment, share, subscribe again, or ask other people to subscribe, or make 4 5 Gmail accounts free to make subscribe to my channel. I don't know if I'll be back next week, considering things at home, but until then, bye. Oh, wait, there's bloopers at the end, so watch them and bye. Bradley Cooper. Okay. If you are someone who follows me on Instagram, you should have seen me drooling about Bradley Cooper in one of my recent stories. And when I say recent, it means the Saturday gibberish stories. If you have not seen, you probably need to follow me. The movie is about a man called Chef. Man called Chef. Wow. You're amazing, Sonal.